Snowflake breach exposes 165 customers' data in ongoing extortion campaign.
Trump demands Biden remove ad of him calling dead soldiers suckers and losers, and Trump denies calling dead soldiers losers and suckers after Biden visit to cemetery in France. Fox News edited out Trump saying he might keep Epstein files sealed. Trump meets with probation officer ahead of sentencing.
French far-right projected to win snap election without absolute majority. In Germany, Putin announces further cooperation between Russia and the AfD, and no signs of neo-Nazism, claims. Von der Leyen aims for a second term but still needs a deal. In Ireland, far-right candidates spread baseless claims of election fraud. Portugal's socialists and liberals defeat far-right in EU elections. Russian officials call Macron and Scholz illegitimate after EU election setbacks.
YouTube prankster voted in as Cyprus MEP. Jurors begin deliberations in Hunter Biden's criminal gun case.
In Canada, federal parties agree to ask commissioner to investigate treason allegations in watchdog report. Federal government to give Quebec $750 million for surge in temporary immigrants. Biden to close Dili detention center, shift resources amid border crackdown. Some F-16s donated to Ukraine will be stored abroad as reserves, top officer says. U.S. confirms Ukraine used Patriot to down Russia's valuable A-50 radar plane in January. Nearly 20,000 Wagner mercenaries died taking Bakhmut, media investigation confirms.
Uvalde shooting survivors' families sue UPS, FedEx for shipping weapon used by gunmen in school massacre. In the U.S., Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez says progressive movement is undermined by anti-Semitism. Drop in violent crime is no accident, Biden says, as violent crime is down and the U.S. murder rate is plunging, FBI statistics show. UN Food Agency pauses its aid work at U.S. pier in Gaza over security concerns.
Blinken says U.S. will try to bridge Israel and Hamas gaps on Gaza truce. Time for haggling to stop, and Blinken says some of Hamas' proposed changes to a ceasefire plan in Gaza are workable and some not. Hamas seeks complete halt to war in Gaza proposal response. UN says record 120 million people forcibly displaced globally.
So does Hamas, as UN inquiry says Israel and Hamas have both committed war crimes since October 7th, and Hamas leader said civilian death toll could benefit militant group in Gaza war, WSJ reports. Hezbollah rains rockets on Israel after strike kills commander. Finland will host a NATO land command and troops. Putin claims he did not plan to storm Kyiv in 2022. G7 says Russia should pay almost $500 billion to Ukraine in compensation of damage.
Zelensky arrives in Switzerland as 92 countries confirm peace summit attendance. Switzerland receives 100 state guests for summit on peace in Ukraine. BRICS leaders not to attend conference on Ukraine in Switzerland, as Ukraine struggles to court Global South before Swiss summit. Putin discloses he spoke with Obama amid 2014 coup in Ukraine. 10 years ago, it had been reported as Vladimir Putin and Barack Obama engage in war of words over Ukraine.
At least $940 million to victims of state-sponsored terrorism in 2025.
Zelensky rejects Putin's Hitler-like ultimatum for truce. Drop its NATO bid, as Putin offers ceasefire if Ukraine exits Russian-claimed areas and drops NATO bid. Kyiv calls proposal absurd. Putin says almost 700,000 Russian troops fighting in Ukraine. Kyiv to get $1.5 billion from frozen Russian assets in July, and Putin denounced freezing of Russian assets as theft, which will not go unpunished. EU Commissioner announces EU will match Russia's ammunition production in 2025. Russia may store 100 nuclear warheads in Kaliningrad Oblast, Polish FM claims. Russia withdrawing from protocol to Transboundary Air Pollution Convention.
EU member states greenlight Ukraine. Moldova negotiating frameworks. Bridges, not walls. Vatican says maintaining diplomatic ties with Russia is important. Russia, Iran boost trade turnover by 48% in Q1 2024. Turkey 90% likely to cede second NPP project in Sinop to Russia. North Korea building roads, walls inside demilitarized zone, announces Yonhap. Gaza civilian killings during Israel's freeing of hostages could be war crimes, UN says. Hamas, Palestinian Authority welcome UN Security Council resolution for Gaza ceasefire. Al Jazeera rejects accusations hostage captor was a journalist on their platform. Apple supplier stocks drop as AI events seen lacking wow factor. Where Apple brings ChatGPT and more AI to devices, Wall Street unimpressed. Elon Musk threatens to ban Apple devices from his companies over Apple's ChatGPT integrations.
Taiwan straight into unmanned hellscape if China invades. Top Admiral checks to open cultural center in Taiwan, risking China's ire. Canadian judge to retire from Hong Kong's top court becomes third member to step down.
Russia announces joint Navy drills with Egypt near Suez Canal. Ukraine is developing its own glide bombs. Reportedly, the ones it got from the US often don't work.
Russia begins second stage of tactical nuclear weapon drills with Belarus. Russia uses submarines to patrol Black Sea after naval losses, Ukraine military says. Rheinmetall and Ukrainian government open tank repair plant.
Czech PM blames failed arson attempt on Russia.
Japan ministry believes Toyota's misconduct may violate UN standards, Yomiuri reports. Class action lawsuit alleges certain Kia and Hyundai vehicles have a defect. Chinese builder Daishin receives liquidation order from HK Court.
Mexico's peso sinks as Sheinbaum embraces judicial reform. Japan to enroll all foreign residents in national pension system. In the UK, Labour election victory would be net positive for markets, says JP Morgan.
Hyundai plans to file for India unit IPO in June, sources say. Intel interrupts work on $25 billion Israel fab, citing need for responsible capital management. Apple's Vision Pro headset sets launch in China, where it faces ByteDance, Huawei. Boeing Starliner stuck on space station as more leaks discovered. NASA accidentally broadcasts simulation of distressed astronauts on space station. DARPA's secretive new neutrino detector program could be a game changer for global underwater military surveillance.
Nearly a week ago, Chinese battery suppliers tied to Ford. VW should be banned, GOP lawmakers say. EU hits Chinese EVs with extra duties of up to 38.1%, and Czech carmakers warn tariffs on Chinese EVs could hit supply chains. Tesla to build Shanghai factory to make Megapack batteries.
Dollar and euro trade halted on Russia's biggest exchange due to new U.S. sanctions. New U.S. wave of Ukraine sanctions includes targets in Hong Kong and mainland China. U.S. expands Russia sanctions to target LNG projects, chips, and David Cameron calls on Europe to turn off Russian gas to save Ukraine.
A 98-year-old man's liver was donated. He is believed to be the oldest American organ donor ever. NBA icon and Hall of Famer Jerry West passes away at 86. Françoise Hardy, French pop singer and fashion muse, dies aged 80.
More than 75% of U.S. hotels remain short-staffed, survey shows. LA Times comments as, the fast food industry claims the California minimum wage law is costing jobs. Its numbers are fake. New York Times union urges management to reconsider 9 art department cuts as paper ramps up AI tools. FBI official admits mistakes, vows to improve relations with Asian American communities as FBI asks scientists for trust in taking anti-Asian bias seriously. Sales of Chinese CCTV cameras surge despite UK security ban. Nearly 80% of Americans are concerned about the spread of disinformation, with Black people among the most targeted.
2025 BMW M2 gets 20 horsepower boost to 473 ponies, updated cabin. Honda launches long-awaited electric van starting at $15,550. 9 months ago, it had been announced that Honda unveils $10,000 electric N-Van E with 130 miles range that can power your home.
Moldovan president signs changes to treason law denounced by opposition. Amnesty International. Massive attack cancelled Georgia show in protest to the government's attack on basic human rights. France's Macron suspends New Caledonia reform that sparked deadly riots after snap polls called. S-500 Prometheus air defense system now protecting Russia's Kerch Bridge, claimed by Ukraine's spy boss. Rheinmetall, Kyiv agreed to start producing Lynx armored vehicles in Ukraine in 2024. Candias to unveil next-generation main battle tank at Eurosatory 2024.
Reportedly, more Russians died in 10 months' battle for Bakhmut than in 10 years' Afghan war. Foot investigation finds Ukrainian children on Russian adoption sites, and U.S. aware of credible reports Russia is listing Ukrainian children for adoption, White House says. Dutch MPs approve purchase of 4 Black Sword Barracuda submarines from Naval Group.
In the U.S., prices stayed flat in May as inflation hit plateau and Federal Reserve leaves rates unchanged, sees only one 2024 cut despite inflation progress. Philippine rate cut likely to come after Fed, finance chief says. Australia's unemployment rate dips to 4% as economy adds 40,000 new jobs.
The terrorist massacres of Hamas on October 7. U.S. says Houthis seek allies and bid to upend global shipping. FAA investigating how counterfeit titanium got into Boeing and Airbus jets. Southwest Airlines Boeing 737 MAX 8 plunged within 400 feet of ocean near Hawaii. China overtakes U.S. in global car sales for the first time.
Iggy Azalea says Mother tokens can soon be used to buy phones. Fidelity International tokenizes money market fund on JP Morgan's blockchain. Craig Wright should pay plaintiff's legal bill after found posing as Satoshi, Copa says.
Zimbabwe seeks input to regulate cryptocurrency operations. Trump says remaining Bitcoin must be made in U.S. Saudi Arabia joins BIS and China-led central bank digital currency project.
U.S. settles for $4.47 billion with now bankrupt crypto